What's going on, everybody? We're going to go talking about the Bushnell Launch Pro, the GC3. I get a lot of questions about my thoughts on these units. Finally got to hit them. Actually hadn't had a chance to hit on either of them until the PGA show this year. So excited to be able to do that. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, we're going to talk a little bit here about the Bushnell Launch Pro and the Foresight GC3. I figure we put them together because I think there's not a whole lot that hasn't already been said, but maybe some confusion maybe that we can clear up, and also just kind of give you my thoughts on the units. Haven't been able to hit on them for the first time, so and give you whatever I think about them as we go. So again, starting off, we have to start with what are the units. Well, they are a photo-based unit. Okay, so keep that in mind. So what that means is you're going to have something that's out in front, looking back at the club, looking at the ball, because they want the ball to fly through an area where it's taking a bunch of pictures, and they take that data and then they can calculate it out to give you a ball flight. So these units are fantastic for indoors. They work pretty good in low light. You're going to be good in a small space. That's always really good. So again, if you're looking on that indoor side, you're going to fully just play indoors. These are a great option. If the space you have is not very big, this might be your only option. So that might change with some other things that are coming out, but just something that happens there. Your radar units are going to go away if you don't have enough room. But from there, what you need to do is then look at, hey, what are the units capturing and what are you going to be able to do with it? Okay, so this Bushnell Launch Pro, if you get the base model of it, it's $4,000. We've got a list here on Bushnell that you can look up. What are you getting? You're getting your carry distance, you're getting ball speed, total spin, you're getting your HLA, you're getting your VLA, those are horizontal launch angle, vertical launch angle. You're getting club head speed, which then allows you, because you have ball speed, you're going to be able to get a smash factor. Now, you do need a sticker to measure those, to measure your club and then smash factor, okay? So just keep that in mind as you're going through. And it's just a single sticker that they put on. It's on the top of the club, so you're going to need those stickers. You have to put them on, make sure they're on if you want that. Now, that's all you're going to get. Okay, that's what you get with it, and then you can see that on the unit as you're going through. Okay, now if you're going to upgrade, if you want to do a little bit more, hey, I want to have some more data. Okay, I want to get spin tilt. Okay, I want to get my spin axis. I want to get backspin, side spin. You can get club path, angle of attack. If you want total distance, which is what you need for you're going to need simulation software to do that with this unit. If you want that stuff, you want descent angle. There's a bunch of other metrics that you can get, but you are going to have to pay a subscription to get that. So first subscription is going to be $250. Okay, you're going to need $250, and then that's going to get you what's called FSX Pro, which is essentially like an iPad app, and then you can kind of see all your data laid out, all of that onto an iPad or wherever you want it. But that's going to be what you get, and then you can go up to a silver membership, which is $500. You got a $700 membership, which is gold. This is going to get you your simulation software, FSX Play, FSX 2020. You get that with those silver, gold, and that's going to allow you to play golf courses. Difference between silver and gold, from what I see, is it's how many sessions you can save in the cloud, how many sessions you can save locally on your device. There's going to be a limit of that, how many clubs you can put into the device, and then also how many courses you are getting, right? So if you want to simulate through FSX, through FlightScope, you are going to need to do that upgrade. Now, there are other options for simulation out there. You can look into those as you go. So there's also an unlimited option for $3,500. So for $7,500 all in, you can just have everything forever as you go. Okay, so that's what you're looking at with the Bushnell Launch Pro. So for me, what did I think of it as I was hitting on it? I don't think there's too much to say about it, right? It's a photo unit. They are very good, right? They work good. The thing that, people ask, hey, why don't you use one? I mean, there's two big reasons for me. One, I like to take it outside and do some things there. And then two, I have a lot of lefty-righty issues. So, I don't want to have to keep switching the unit around. Those are two of my big things as we're going through. Plus costs and stuff like that with, hey, do I need to unlock things as I go? So that's another thing as we go. I like I don't like the subscription model personally, but again, some of you might like it out there, and there are other things that you can do to kind of work around that. So from that standpoint, again, I think it performed very well. Performed exactly how I would think a photo unit would work. Now, when we were hitting it, again, we were hitting it outdoors. So what were we seeing? Well, we were seeing the ball, the carry number you're getting is shorter. We were hitting slightly downhill and slightly, downwind. So we were hitting the ball pretty far, compared to what the number was giving us, so it's not going to give you that number, right? It's not going to give us all the numbers with the elements. It's not tracking the ball. But again, was I getting what the flight was doing? I think so, but again, a little bit hard, because if that wind kind of switched to where it was pushing out of the left, it would say we drew it, but then you're getting a fade ball flight. So that's just key things to know, that you need to look at that when you're hitting, right? Like, hey, I'm going to have to hit, and whatever the flight is, just know what the unit is doing is essentially what we're going to see. The other thing is, we were hitting with range balls, so you're getting the range ball spin, which most range balls are flighted, so they spin a ton. So like on drivers and stuff, I'm getting 4,500 spin on the outdoor range. So, you're going to have to figure that part out, and you have to work with that through either software or whatever to be able to figure out what's going on. Same thing's going to happen on a radar unit. You do have some modes where they let you choose the ball, and they'll normalize things out a little bit. But if you're just hitting straight on with range balls and not doing any calculations on the back end, you're going to get that too with pretty much any launch monitor as you go. So then we moved over to hitting on the GC3. Again, we did this one indoors. We did have it on a range, but that's not going to really matter as much. But let's talk about a little bit about that device. So, because some of the big news coming out was that Foresight's going to partner with GS Pro. That's one of my favorite softwares. So really want to find out some of the details about that. When you're using Foresight, though, let's talk a little bit about the unit. So again, you're going to get $5,000 is the base price of the unit. You are going to get the data that they measure, which is going to be ball speed, horizontal, vertical launch angles, total spin, side spin, spin axis, carry distance, club head speed, smash factor, angle of attack, and club path. Okay, so you get that. That's going to be displayed on the unit, okay? Now, when you're doing that, again, you're going to need stickers, but if you go ahead and they have a bundle that you can get where you get FSX, that's their software, so that is $7,500. So again, you're looking at the same all-in prices as you go, and that's where you're going to get FSX Play, which is like their challenge software, FSX 2020. You get 10 courses with it. You get their Pro software, which is again kind of like it looks not so rangy, like it's just the data, and then you get all the stuff. You do get an alignment stick. That's another thing about it for me with these units is just alignment. Please align these ones and take time. They are much more difficult to align and align properly. If you're really finicky about, hey, accuracy, 1 degree matters, so make sure it's lined up correctly, and then you go from there. One thing that was important to note is, if you wanted to play with GS Pro and have that supported, you do need to have FSX. Okay, so you do have to have the FSX software to play GS Pro through Foresight. Okay, so that is something you got to know. That was a big point of emphasis, because you're pulling data from FSX somehow into GS Pro. So just keep that in mind. So if you already have it, you're just adding on the GS Pro part of it, but that is something that you needed to look at. So again, performance-wise, it will perform just like it. It's somebody that's owned GC2s, have taught on GC2s, taught thousands of lessons with them. It performed pretty similarly. The biggest thing, the data, again, all made sense. The biggest thing you have to know on these units is just, again, how do they work? How do they read? So when you're using these photo units, they are really actually, when they're reporting you some data, they're reporting it to it just before impact, whereas Flight Scope's doing it at first touch. TrackMan is doing it at max deformation of the golf ball. So if you think about it on the swing, what I always get with Foresight is my club path is like 1.5 degrees inflated. That's kind of a standard through the industry is, I'm hitting with 1 to 2 degrees of in to out, or maybe even 0 the entire show. When I'm hitting on a Foresight, I'll be like 3 to 4.5 in to out, just because of how it's reading. Same thing on quad. Hit on quad while we were there as well, and was getting the same thing. So it's not a unit thing. It's just a difference in measuring standards. So just keep that in mind as you're looking at those numbers as you're going through it. So again, really good units. They perform well. They perform exactly what you would think. And you know, from Foresight and from Bushnell, very good companies within the golf world. So honestly, nothing too surprising and nothing that's saying, hey, steer clear. Again, just kind of depends on what you like and what you're looking for. So if you have questions about it, would love to answer them. But again, just kind of giving you a little feedback, some of the things we picked up on at the show. And if you have any questions about it, please leave a comment down below. Again, we're going to be going over more, talking about getting better. It's getting to that time of year. I'm excited about it. We have Unicore coming up too. We'll talk about them. And then some teaching apps and training aids, including Me and My Golf. They had some really cool stuff going on. So we'll talk about all that. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.